I'm not going to restart the stream now, but I will have to restart the stream just before the captain's table goes live. I realized I changed the recording, and I don't think I can change the recording live. Nah, I can't do that. I hate that I can't do that. No, it's just that when I stream... Welcome to the Astropub, by the way. When I stream, and I record, I have to record in... in 1080 while I'm streaming, because my system cannot handle me recording in higher frame rates, and in that kind of stuff. Yeah. Great job, anniversary. Thank you for watching. My next goal is to do to redo the intro to Star Citizen lore video. It's old, I need to update it. And then I also plan on doing a sort of a review of the year. It's going to be a stitched together video, but it's going to be a review of the narrative of 2025. So like what happened in 2945 or 2955. My goal this year is to do one long video a month, and maybe a short video or a stitched together video a month as well. The very minimum, one long video a month. And I'll try to do a live stream once a month. A lot of people like the Ships of the UE Navy video. Some people were like, this is the laziest thing I've ever seen. And it's like, apparently people like lazy, because that shit did fucking well. All right. And I found. I hope CIG will throw us some more lore bones in 2026. They did in 2025. We just need better storytelling. Hey, Mud Center. Hiya, only recently discovered your videos, and they're really great. Really enjoyed the full history of Drake. I'm catching up on the others. Glad you have watched. Thank you for watching. There's a lot you can watch. probably several days worth of videos. The older you get, I need to redo some of the earlier ones, and that's probably what I'm going to do this year, is do a lot of earlier videos. As a student of history, today was a day. It was a day. I'm not going to talk about too much because that's going to get people pissed off, and I kind of want... I'm already pissed off about that. I need to... I don't want to talk about that right now. I want people to be distracted at least a little bit from thinking about that shit. Anything else in here? Oh yeah.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
You
can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
On 123400 just resubscribed for 6 months. Hope you are having a great start of 2026.
Thank you so much for that 6 months of support there, Thorn. You're a very important pumper, very pacifist, you're very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers, yeah, shots and cheers. Initially, you mentioned that after Nick's announcement, how it makes no sense that have Nick's planets be lush terraformed worlds, and then we got 4-5. We've talked about that a little bit, Yokusuga. Yeah, I'm not going to go on too far. What I will say is that right now, CIG is doing the right thing. In that they're making that a more recent event because it's just starting to happen. Because the funny part is I know you just started watching, so you weren't here when I was talking about this earlier. Just having a cruise in the rain in the toxic fallout. This is one of the coolest features CIG has added, because it is just sort of random around Norville. Yeah, who cares? I wish there would be more common around the other planets, but we're not going to get a rain in Area 18 only because they're going to not add rain until they redo Area 18. But as I was saying earlier, Yoshino Kitsune, based on your name, you should watch the complete history of Crusader Industries. You'll like that. They talk a little bit about the Nine Tails and how they're basically Yakuza cosplayers. But on the lead up, when they made that announcement, I raised a pitch fit about the whole thing. I'm like, this is stupid. This doesn't make any sense. Like, you either change the system entirely or you don't. It doesn't make a lot of sense considering how invaluable the terraforming plans are in their own narrative. Like, CIG already crafted their own narrative where terraformed planets are a huge deal. People wouldn't have abandoned, like, Stanton was sold to corporations because of how big a deal terraforming was. Like, they had planets that could be terraformed, and they couldn't get anyone to want to settle it, so they sold it to corporations so they could still hold on to Stanton. Like, that's how big a deal it was. Thank you, Ben. So the fact that they did this sort of like retcon made no sense. And I said, the only way it could work is if this is recent and it ties into the storyline of 2026, because it's gonna have to, like, there's a conflict clearly between Nyx and between the People's Alliance and the UEE. The People's Alliance wants to remain independent. The UEE wants to absorb them. They both have their own political and tactical reasons for doing so. And like literally a week after I made that statement, CIG released the first splash screen of 4.4, where they had the, like, you know, describe how Genesis terraforming, he was just starting to implement it. So it was recent. And then the next like the one for 4.5 was like, oh, by the way, yeah, this is now that Nyx 1 is terraformed, we want to take over Nyx 1 for the UEE. It's like, God damn it, why do I have to give them ideas? You're writers, do it yourself. God damn it. If you're gonna steal my ideas. I want to say that they did it on their own because it was just the most logical thing to do. So they were thinking in the same, we share the same brain cell kind of thing. And I hope that's the case. Because if they're taking my ideas, I need to start charging them fucking money. If you want to take my ideas, just fucking hire me. As a consultant. You don't even have to give me full time. No, I know convergence. I want to stay away from that only because the world's already a shitty place. I don't want to make people like, it's not the right place for it. I'm just a guy doing stuff on the internet in terms of like cool stuff with video games. There's an appropriate forum that I don't want to make myself because I don't think I have the proper training or the proper temperament to do so in a way that would make people feel entertained or educated in a way that would make sense. Also, in a way that wouldn't, like, I don't handle drama well. I'm not a guy who seeks out drama for drama's sake. I'll lean into something if it's a controversial take, but I'm not gonna like, I'm not, and political smoke is not something I want to deal with. If that makes sense. Knowledge, not here, dude. Not here. This goes for the entirety of the stream. Just, I get it. It can be frustrating. And trust me, as a queer dude, I get it. But I also am not going to like go out of my way to talk about something that I don't have all the information for. So yeah, hopefully it's understandable there for conversions. It's like I'm playing Star Citizen. You know, if I was like Hassan or one of the other political streamers out there talking about this, that would make a lot more sense. Because, like, you know, that's a place where people are used to go and talked about that sort of thing. We'll do Max.
Your insurance claim has been sent.
Only CIG drop meter, exactly. And even then, I don't handle that very well.
Thank you.
It's in his nature, Jin. It's in his nature. The closest I'll get to political discussion when it comes to Star Citizen is the political connections between Star Citizen's narrative and the real world. It would be nice if they hired you. You've been fleshing out Star Citizen lore in a great way. I usually I watch almost all of your lore videos. Usually listen to them like an audiobook while doing chores. Most people do that kind of stuff. I try to add a little bit of flavor to the images so that they make sense, but it's mostly just, you know, still images, just because, you know, there's just not a lot of visuals that really matter. I find it's a similar case with like most like lore pieces. It's just really hard to do something like with visuals because a lot of visuals is gameplay. Hey, Magdy, cool. Considering your big swampy robot book, can there also be Fluffy Kitty as a pet? Or I hope so. Fluffy Kitty. Maybe. Are we talking about my book, the one that I'm writing? By the way, I am writing a book. I've said this before. It wasn't really a big announcement. It was a big announcement on social media, but I haven't really talked about it here because I didn't want to go into too depth. But it is a book inspired by my love of mecha, so Gundam, BattleTech, that kind of stuff. So taking some of those influences, but it's also influenced by on the spot. I can't remember what the fuck. All right, I'm responding it. Yes, the book you're writing on. Maybe it's hard to really add that in, given the nature of the story. H.P. Lovecraft. That's what I was thinking. It's got some Lovecraftian horror tropes into it. It's one of the inspirations behind it was my hatred for how GW has fucked up the Chaos Gods. Because I'm like, if a god is just straight up evil, why would anyone worship something that is blatantly evil and will fuck you over? Like, it just doesn't make a lot of logical sense. I don't think like a lot of people would logically want to follow them. So instead, it should make more sense for the Chaos Gods to be more like the Greek gods, sort of like, but more. Good job, officer. Keeping the peasants underfoot, scaring the shit out of them, especially since these are all just travelers. I'm sure you're getting paid a lot of money for this, buddy. Good job. Good job. You're doing your masters proud. Appropriate image for the Hurston Dynamics video. I wish you'd get more lore with each new ship release. Of course, some ships have lots of lore history, but it'd be nice to know more. Man, I'm with you there. What I'd love for CIG to do is to standardize a couple of things, like just some basics, like name the designer, name when it was originally built, and like where it was designed or something like that. But at least the name of the designer and what date, what time it was. Ooh, that's cool as fuck. That's a nice, I like that. I love it when we have more people in the game. So is Hurston Security under lifetime contracts? They might be. But knowing how Hurston works, the security members are probably, if they are lifetime contract members, they're lifetime contract members who have been promoted from internally. So they're probably like people who showed aptitude for security and then got promoted up. But I don't think the leaders of Hurston Security are probably lifetime contractors. They're probably professional or semi-professional police or military that were hired to do the job. And the way that CIG's kind of writes Hurston is that they're sort of like a feudal state. They're a feudal society. That was sort of the imagery and everything they wanted to go for. That's the reason why the Hurston elite guards have those like capes and those like that armor was supposed to be like they're the knights, and these are like the footmen who are keeping people in line, sort of thing. Hey, Rush.
Welcome to the ASOC Vehicle Retrieval System.
But anyways, back to that. I think I was talking about with my book. Basically, because I felt like gods, the chaos gods, should be more reflective of real life. Because like there are fan in the fan community, there are like ways that people will represent each of the chaos gods in their positive aspects. Like Korn is a god of honor and duty. Slanesh is the god of passion and inspiration. Tzeentch is the god of freedom and change, but like of like freedom and revolution. And Nurgle is the god of life and of the like life cycle, that kind of stuff. And trying to represent them in more of their positive aspects, but you never see the positive aspects. It's all just petulant, like war, blood, sex, all that kind of stuff.
Vehicle selected. Stand by.
So I wanted to create a eldritch creatures that felt like eldritch creatures that would interfere with people, but not in a way that was like overtly evil. You know, they just happen to be antagonists or happen to be in the way at the time, sort of thing. With Gleischer being in Aberdeen and the Hurstons doing lifetime contracts, I would expect more posters in prison trying to inspire inmates to sign up for such contracts. That would be a good idea, honestly. Like maybe even the announcer is like, would you like to lower your or need help after you get out? Hurston Dynamics is hiring. I feel like they would do a lot of advertising in prisons. Hurstons would. That's kind of their whole shtick. They hire ex-cons all the time. Like most people who are in lifetime contracts are either ex-convicts or the lowest of the low. What's the plan today? The plan today is to do some trading. But then after that, in like 2 hours, we're gonna do a call-in show where we're gonna talk about the what you're expecting for 2026. So if you want to talk about on Captain's Table live, if you want to talk about what you think you're expecting with 2026, let me add that to that real quick. So a pub talk. Are we supporting orphans today? I mean, that's the plan. I could do that. This is 120. This is 64. So that's 128. And I can slap the rest of them in if I need to. But it's lower. Let's do the smaller one. All right. We're heading to Golden Riviera. You know me. I just like to help out the children. I do everything for the children. They reversed it again. controls.
Please visit us again. Remember, if you're contemplating a career change, you should contact one of Hurston's resource managers for information about exit.
Good cutoff. Good. Tried running Dead Space mission earlier this week. Had to run randomly blowing up issues. I didn't have that issue. I expect nothing in for 2026. The best way to avoid disappointment. Yeah, I get that. With Kleischer being, or yeah, someone said something. I'd expect, or rather hope, Squadron 42 gets released in 2026. I have a feeling it will get released in 2026. I don't know when, but I think it's just a matter of when, not if, or like when in 2026. Don't get me wrong, it could get delayed. I'm not sitting here going like, oh yeah, it's definitely coming in 2026. I'm just saying I have confidence that it will be coming in 2026, mostly because of what I've heard from internally and what I've seen externally from CIG. When those two line up, it means that something's going on. And yeah, sometimes I hear stuff internally that doesn't line up with external expectations, and I'm like, something probably went wrong. Well, the people I talked to was probably just didn't get the full memo. Like, for instance, way long ago, like 2-3 years ago, there was a huge flush of information that came out. One, CIG was talking to a distributor. I'm not going to name the distributor, but they were talking to a distributor. I know the distributor they were talking to, which makes a lot of sense, actually. Now that I know who that distributor is, like I knew it at the time, but I now like understand what other games they distribute. So, and then they also were planning to release Squadron 42 in February. They didn't say when February, just a February, and that was like 2024 was when I heard that. So everyone was like, or yeah, like early 2024 or late 2023. So it's like, oh, maybe it's 2024, early 2024 they're going to release it. But then, like, they didn't really do any announcements for Squadron or anything else like that. I'm like, that's not a good sign. So I think people shouldn't second guess the studio. If 2026 isn't coming out in 2026, if 142 isn't coming out in 2026, I'm sure they'll let people know. They will. I think so. But I mean, I'm also interested to hearing more thoughts about what y'all think. So we're gonna start that in about 2 hours, and the goal is for you to for having people come to Discord, and we'll talk about like, what do you expect from 2026 from Star Citizen? Like what do you hope for? What do you expect? And then do you think Squadron's coming out next year or this year? You say next year? It is this year. I gotta say, the game is handling a lot smoother. I plan on doing for the. I think unless CIG says anything, I feel like Squadron 42 is coming in 2026 timetable. It'll be closer to the end of the year than a new one, than into the new one. I've heard some people say June. I would love for June. Don't get me wrong. I think June would be the best time to release Squadron, but second best time to release Squadron is October. So I think that CIG, because they like to be as symmetrical as possible. I don't know what the term for it is. They like to be. They want to be thematic. So having Squadron 42 release on the anniversary or close to the anniversary of the project start in 2012 in October would be a big event, which is this, CitizenCon, the start of the funding campaign. And October gives them the most possible time to work on the game and release it this year. I have my own concerns about Squadron 42's release, but that is entirely to do with their not even the release window. It's more about their proposed or lack of proposal of an advertisement campaign. It's like the problem is, Jordan, is that CIG's sort of fucked no matter what on that front. The only thing we can hope for is that they optimize the fuck out of the game, which is why October is better than anything, because you can't rely on cheap SSDs and RAM. I just hope that Strikers is a more mainstream state by the time they release Squadron 42. For example, better server backend performance, better inventory, better management, better UI, UX. I honestly think that a lot of that stuff that they're doing is a lot of that stuff is going to happen at the very beginning of the year because of Squadron. Like, I fully expect CIG to push hard for inventory to be added to the game, the new inventory system to be added to the game, whether it's ready or not, in like next month or like March. Isn't Squadron 42 the first of the three-player game titles? Yes, it is. GTA 6 is out in November, so if it's out at the end of November, so if Squadron releases in early October, then they have a good shot at capturing some word-of-mouth marketing at the very least and getting some attention. But I think that's what CIG is planning on doing, is like they're going to blitz trying to make the game, getting as much part of the game in, the features of the game in that they want to, at the beginning of the year, and then just basically back off for the end of the year, where they're just going to focus on trying to make the game better, add more content, and that kind of stuff. So I don't expect a lot of content. Early on. I expect most, like, the fleet ops and those sorts of things, and like the maybe Rockcracker, but like not the depths. I expect all of those to be later in the year. Or the municipal works. the galactic colon. Lots of polyps. Isn't your character's name the Proctologist? Cosmic Proctologist. Didn't you name it after I pointed out the fact that it looks like a butthole? Gotta get gas at Stanton Gateway, otherwise I'm gonna be fucked. I may even still have to stop. I was fucking huge. No, way before. Okay. I suppose Siege of Origin could come out soon. Yeah, I can see that coming out by like February, March. We'll see. That really relies on the on dynamic meshing. So once they get instancing in, I think that'll be their first test of instancing is actually Siege. I did that. I didn't mean to. I'm gonna go right here. Yeah, let's just land anyways. It's a little safer. Someone say Siege? Boy, I can't wait to set up a repair team for that Ion, for the Ion out on the 3rd platform. I think pretty much everything they showed off at CitizenCon Direct is the content we're getting. We might get a few more things here and there that are more like, you know, resource rush or stuff like that. I don't think we'll get a ton, and we might get some like narrative arcs that we don't know about, especially around Nyx 1. But I don't think we're going to see much in terms of major content other than what they show.
Service complete. Connection terminating.
Quantum fuel at 100%.
Exit approved.
Question, do you think they'll release Nyx 1? Yes. Yes, this year. I think that's one of the guarantees. I think Nyx 1, dynamic meshing, at least some version of it, at least so that they can get instancing in, will be done. Inventory.
Service complete. Connection terminating.
And Ms. Atmore. It's just one of those things where, like, Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't introduce instancing with a tech smuggler mission. Again, almost all of their missions from, I want to say from,
You can take away my space.
from Lazarus
You
on.
can take away my space.
Not the data center, but Lazarus. Feel like they should have been instanced.
But you can never,
Never,
ever
ever.
take away my space.
Especially Onyx. Onyx was originally supposed to be the...
G Sharp just resubscribed for 82 months. Good day all.
Thank you so much for the 82 months of support. You're a very important brother, very precipice, you're training pedestrian. This, your father's drink, good night. Shots and cheers and cheers. Shots and cheers. The other thing Siege needs is an alternative approaches besides a single elevator choke point. Man, Elliot said that he doesn't design the maps, but I don't know. The one time I got a chance to say, like, why are you into choke points, Elliot? Why are you so into choke points? He said, I do the missions, not the maps. It's like, brother, that's part of the discussion. It's got to be part of the discussion. Please stop putting so many goddamn choke points in your missions. At least have multiple choke points. It's like, it's Elliot's kink. I mean, that's what I was implying. Like, think about it this way. When Jumptown was first introduced, they intentionally increased the number of entrances to Jumptown because it became a bottleneck where people were getting shot at the entrance. So they added multiple entrances because they wanted to make it so that people had to defend multiple entrances. And then since then, it's been nothing but fucking choke points every single mission.
Quantum fuel at 75%.
Not just Lazarus and Siege, but also every single, almost every single, actually every single contested zone. Yeah, Stormbreaker. No, what they need is alternate. They need alternate paths. They need to make it so that every location has at least one alternate path, which forces defenders to split up their attention to multiple different locations. Yeah, but not at the end, Ghost. At the very end, you can choke point the shit out of people. I agree. I think Stormbreaker should have been a giant fucking perpetual dust cloud over the area. Or no. Stormbreaker is not Hathor. I think Hathor should have. But yes, I believe Stormbreaker could have been better with vehicles. I wish they could make it so you could join either side for Orison. Better they make it PvP. Better yet they can make a PvP experience besides PvE. I think they just need a separate PvP instance situation. Oh yeah, I kind of think the end rooms need to be instanced. Once your group enters once you have a group who enters the elevator, it creates and closes an instance. So they can increase the size of the elevator, so intended groups of like 4 to 5 could go in. then you could instance it. And if you had larger groups, you could have larger groups come in, clear out the area, and then each of them could have their own instance to do what they want to. Or instance the actual areas so that there's a limit number, like 20 people can go into a conflict or contestant zone. Question, what happened to the 46 million they had in investment for marketing for Squadron 42? Man, why are you asking me? I don't fucking know. They spent it, I guess? Do I look like I work for CIG? If you're asking, did they ever say anything about it? No, they haven't said shit about it. Man, if you start saying, QPen, if chat starts saying I work for CIG, then you know the response, which is the only way you get your favorite ship or your favorite whatever thing you want is to pay me $2.5 million. If people are gonna start acting like I fucking run CIG, then they better start paying me like CIG. Actually, no, wait. My number has gone up since then. It's now $5 million. Everyone has a number. There's no exceptions. They said they will not do anything for marketing for Squadron 42. They didn't say that they won't do anything for marketing. They said that they don't plan on doing a long extended one. I'm concerned that they said what Chris also said was that they already did enough, so they don't need to do a crazy long one. It's like, Chris, that's not how fucking marketing works, guys. Guessing this is a location. I can't see with all the scrap metal posts. Is it a pad? It's a pad. Yeah, it's right there. Services here. It's all right. The Salvation's nice. It's good. Let me double check to make sure I have my helmet on. I do. We're good. Oh wait, I need to actually load up on. You. If we had pizza in a box, Toons will also eat the entire box. Nah, they have animations you could do. They could do. They do it with the you don't eat the box when it comes to the noodles. I'm hoping they run a 3-month ad campaign rather than nothing. Listen, I don't want to hear anybody still talking shit. These are just simply unregulated herbal supplements, okay? And I'm helping out Our Lady of the Dead Saints, the orphanage, all right? No, the kids made the space candy, okay? I'm simply delivering the space candy to the people who purchased from the little orphans. You're a monster if you think otherwise. It's food grade. Can I have some candy, mister? You gotta take it up with Ticia. I'm sorry, Sister Superior Lady Ticia Pacheco. Yeah, I don't have enough gas to get there. Is there a station on the way? There's Checkmate. Is Starlight nearby? Yeah, let's go to Starlight. Let's go to Lore HQ. Don't we unwrap the Whammer's burger, or do we not actually unwrap the Whammer's burger? Because we unwrap everything else.
Spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
Never.
ever
Ever.
take away my space game.
Magoose just resubscribed for 2 months.
Thank you so much for 2 months of Twitch Prime support there. You're a very important part, very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. You're drinking night. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Come on. Stop bucking like that. Talk to Magoose. Back in the Soviet Union, on gulags in Ural Mountains, laborers were given this Siberian ginseng herb to boost their effectiveness, and they did medical study on it, started to use it on cosmonauts and submarine crew. I mean, ginseng is not just a Russian thing, it's Korean herbalists have used it for thousands of years. I don't know about Chinese, but I imagine it's the same. Ginseng's been a well-known herbal boost for like a long time. And just like for instance, there's an herb that's often used in cooking that has some antibacterial properties. So if you drink tea made out of it, then it can help like fight bacterial infections. I forget the name of it. Oh, I'm doing some helping with the orphans, but the topic for this captain's table today is going to be what your thoughts are for 2026, because we're gonna do a call-in show. So if you want to join us for the call-in show, we'll be doing it on Discord. So we'll be doing, we'll take a couple callers and people can come in and have their opinions, state their opinions about what they think is going to go on with 2026. So, hey Paul, what did you say we're transporting? Natural herbal supplements, yes, that are unregulated by the UBE, made by poor orphans.
Quantum fuel at 100%. Landing gear up.
Yeah, they're not gonna have pets in 2026. I've been watching travel blogs for folks going cross-country traveling in Afghanistan. Amazing how you can apparently buy all sorts of energy drinks, especially Monster, literally everywhere, like even in tiny villages. Well, it helps that America was in that country for like 20 years. So there's probably some local villages had some connections with some distributors in America.
Quantum fuel at 75%.
I'll try not to there, Jin. PepsiCo was so big it used to have its own navy. What's the name of this song? This is just the Quantum Jump song. So if you look up like Pedro, it's Star Citizen Quantum Jump. Just goes to show you that it might not be able to take Taliban out of Afghanistan, but sure still can't stop stimulated beverages. same with Germany after World War II and Coke. It just shows you the insidious impact of America on the rest of the world. You can try to stop us, but we're gonna eventually get our claws into you somewhere in your culture. We're just that good. What era do I like most in history? Early modern Europe. The early modern period in general. The part from like the end of the Renaissance to the beginning of the Enlightenment. Why? Because it's got all of the weird honor shit of the Middle Ages, but all of the guns of the the guns of the later periods. It's the only time in history where guns, swords, and pikes were seen all together. You could still use a gun and a sword in combination.
Quantum fuel at 50%.
Yeah, catapults. Crazy, just did an estimate on a coastline property in a retirement community. Owners just moved from Minnesota 5 years ago. Aren't you in Minnesota? Have I tried Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? I have not yet. I'm still working on the first one, but I know that the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 basically starts at the beginning of that time period. Because I remember seeing the cutscene of them encountering a cannon for the first time, and then being like, "What the fuck is that?" And of course, Henry getting a hold of a hand cannon. But I'm not talking about hand cannons. I'm talking about muskets, baby, like good old matchlock muskets. No, I live in North Carolina now. Oh, okay. You're from Minnesota, though. Have you ever played the game Pentiment? A friend just suggested a playthrough. It took him 2 to 3 times longer because he's a history buff and had to stop for various fascinating mini lectures going on. What is it about? What is Pentiment? I mean, who doesn't like tacos? Well, see, that's the thing about tacos, is that tacos aren't an American invention. They're a Mexican invention. But America said, this is nice, it's ours now. And we've just claimed it. I used to joke that there's nothing more American than tacos and Chinese food. Mexican and Chinese food. Oh, and Italian food, yeah. Italian, Chinese, and Mexican food. Most American dishes of all time. And then when people go, well, I like barbecue, it's like, oh, so you like African food? You like Caribbean and African food then? Well, Caribbean and Pacific Islander, but Islander food in general. Whoop, 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 whoop. The wrong button. No, I know. We've talked about it. I'm trying not to talk about that topic because I am not equipped to have a discussion on that topic in a way that would be helpful for anybody. I know about it. I saw about it before I logged into today. I literally was about to stream when I saw the news, so. Oh, interesting. I'll have to take a look at it. Thank you, Grindel. It's just one of those things where I'm playing Star Citizen. I'm not going to sit here and talk about international affairs with the U.S. because it's like, what I'm not going to add to the conversation. Nothing we do in this chat is going to add to the conversation or change people's minds at the moment. We don't even have enough information to know what's really going on. As far as I can find, there's not a lot of information. So at this point, this is just come in, hang out, relax, forget about that shit for now. Don't pay attention to it, because clearly, as a teacher of history, government, economics, pay attention to it, please. But I am not a source to come to for that information. There are other people who are more up to date than I am. You get older people having their speech bubbles filled with elaborate calligraphy, and younger folks with more progressive people having the words printed into the bubble. That's neat. It's pretty neat. Hey, Ruben. Well, what I mean is that basically this age of food best represents proof that as humans, regardless if we can find common ground. I mean, I'm in Australia, and it's just lovely to go to a city and eat food from all over the world. I mean, there's something to be said about, we live in an age where you are in Australia talking to me in the United States with people from literally all over the world in a chat. This has never happened before in human history. And we do this casually. This just sort of happens now. People are like, oh, I like this niche thing. I'm going to go online, find a bunch of people who like this niche thing, and watch this niche thing with other people. This never happened. And you're right. It does prove that humans are a lot more similar than we think. We have a lot more that that unites us than divides us, but we tend to focus on the divisions more than the things that are unique, because it's easier to look at something and go, that person or that thing is different and weird. That's one of the best things about games. You can escape for a few hours, or a good book. Hey, speaking of books, I haven't done anything on that book this break. I've been focusing on content for Star Citizen and online. I've been meaning to go back and actually write it, so I'll probably do that like after today. All right, I gotta go back. Where is the gate? There, I think. Oh, it's right there. I'll do the elevator pitch. A crew, so actually I can't even do the elevator pitch. I'm gonna have to explain a little bit more about it. I'm not confident about the elevator pitch yet because it's kind of weird, but it's based on my love of mecha fiction. So think BattleTech, Mech Warrior, and Gundam and stuff like that, combined with my fascination with cosmic horror and my love of video games like RimWorld and Halo and Titanfall, clearly, because it's, you know, another mecha thing. Dash of 40K thrown in here and there. But the basic gist is, at the end of the last great solar war, the two sides have come together to launch to unify under a single banner to launch colony ships out into deep space. And so we follow one of these colony ships as it wakes, as the crew and the colonists wake up from their nearly 1,000-year journey into the to a new land, to a new world to colonize. And when they wake up, they realize that the place they were supposed to go to is changed. It's different from when they were originally supposed to be there. And so we follow a crew of mech pilots who've been on board as part of the defense team called Walkers. And them being basically the only hope to unraveling what's gone on the planet, and also to help the colonists find a place to land, a place to live. I like my robots with trauma. Yeah, there's lots of trauma in this one. A lot of the themes are around like how nobody is left unscarred from war. Because like most of the colonists are made up of refugees. So a lot of it is also, there's a lot of drama, interpersonal drama between the various members of the crew, because it left over from the last war, because the crew is made up of members of both sides. The focus is more on the plot is there, and my hope is to add enough mystery to keep people interested in what's going on, but also focus on the characters of these pilots, and how they function, and what makes them tick, and why they do what they do, and how that sort of causes tension to brew.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
Never.
ever
Ever.
take away my space game.
I don't have like a publishing deal yet for that. It's just more of I'm gonna write it and release it for free. Yeah, Lancer's a good
Slim Jim
example.
Reborn just resubscribed for 2 months.
Thank you so much for that, Slim Jim, for that Twitch Prime sub for 2 months. You're very important, Papa. Very impressive, Mr. Very new pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Okay. There we go. The only problem about this mission is that it takes a long ass time to complete. Woo, that was close. Oh. I'm out of the field. I can aim properly now. Well, I'm interested. Are you using any software to help keep your lore consistent? I know there's some pretty cool ones out there to help with world building. I haven't, but I'll look into it. Right now, it's just a document that I've been writing all of the background into. This is not a spur of the moment thing. This is something I've been thinking about and writing down parts of for the last 2 to 3 years. I think it's about 3 years. I was forgetting exactly when. I started writing it last year, 2025, for real. I dabbled in it the year before that. But the main inspiration for it was RimWorld. I played enough RimWorld to go, this is interesting. This is an interesting concept. And then I kind of evolved from that. Because I really like mechs, so how could I incorporate mechs? And what are ways you can incorporate mechs that are realistic? And, you know, why would you have a bunch of elite mech pilots in a colony like this, and all sorts of things. Glad to hear that. Campfire. I'll take a look at it. One of the main things that I realized from very early on, especially, this is one of the mistakes that I think that CIG made, was you'll never hear a date in the book. If you do, it'll be a made-up date from a time you won't understand. The most I use is 1,000 years in the future of the time of the Solar War. When did the Solar War happen? I'm not fucking telling you. Why? Because you motherfuckers will be like, well, actually, this seems like this would take too long. Or this is inconsistent. And it's like, no, fuck that. I don't want that to be the focus. I don't want the focus to be, is this realistic? It's like, it's not supposed to be realistic. It's supposed to be, I love hard sci-fi, so it's going to have lots of hard elements of hard sci-fi in it. But it's also going to have some fantastical shit in it. Thank you, Dark. Keep up to date. I'll keep everyone up to date about it. I'll be more upfront when I actually have it starting to publish it, because the goal is for me to actually finish writing several chapters. I already have an outline. I know how it's going to end, all that kind of stuff. The goal is to write several chapters, get it reviewed by sensitivity readers and beta readers, and then reviewing it, like reworking it heavily so it makes sense, and then release it on the internet. I just don't know where to release it on the internet because there's no like centralized source for this sort of thing, and I don't want people to read it or pay for it. I want people to read it. My wife suggested, my published author wife, I might add. I love to say that because my wife is a published author. You can buy her book Panic Eyes on Amazon or at Barnes & Noble. But she suggested Patreon. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to make people pay for it. But you don't actually have to make people pay for stuff with Patreon. But it's also, I want to get it so more people can know where it is, you know? Yeah, and AO3 also has its own demographic, though. Like, it feels like there's a lack of, like, maybe I need to code my own fucking website for it. Do what, what's the guy's name? The guy who did, The Martian and Project Hail Mary. That writer. He just wrote it on his own website and a blog. Cam's idea sounds best. Probably. But then I don't want it just to be like, oh yeah, my fans like that, yeah. I've heard Royal Road before. But I've also, isn't that more of a web novel? Well, I guess this is technically a web novel. It's more fantasy, yeah.
Landing gear down.
No matter what, I'm going to have to start promoting. I'll have to promote it more frequently. And I already know that my audience enjoys listening to things, so I've already contacted a friend of mine who's a voice actor. And I wanted to contact him, and he hasn't responded back yet. Because he already has done work with BattleTech, with MechWarrior. And see if he would do the audiobook. So obviously it's going to be a while before it's fully done. No, yeah, the plan is to do an audiobook. But I want to write it out first. I'm glad you realized we can't read. Andy Weir, yeah. So the goal would be either to finish it and make an audiobook, or finish portions of it and make an audiobook, and then pay for it with my friend. I mean, I don't know Tex well enough, but I do know Haven Kendrick. So that's who I contacted. Tungsten. Throw that tungsten on just in case. It's not contracted, so it's probably decent for something. There are a bunch of smaller studios like Sound Booth where they offer authors a complete platform for release. Okay, that might be a good idea to look at. WordPress. Sound Booth Theater. Okay.
Landing gear up.
TC Spaceport. We'll refill a TISA. I think I have to go to the business district, right? If I'm gonna do the tungsten stuff. '07 smugly McSmuggins today, are we? No, absolutely not, sir. I'm simply helping out the orphans. I resent the idea that I am a smuggler in any way, shape, or form. He's a smuggler, not a smuggler. Hey. I'm just helping orphans, sell their goods, okay? Look at that much. Actually, I wish there was a bit more mission design for smuggle missions. You could have a random interdee by cops and then options to get out of trouble. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what CSG wants to do, that's for sure. They just don't have the technology yet for it. Yeah, I get what you meant, the interdictions. There's a couple of things that they need to have. One is working NPCs, but two, they also need scanning and counter scanning. So the ability of masking goods and stuff like that. Oh, it's raining in Lorville, I forgot. Through the smog.
Yes.
Yes.
Landing gear down. Warning. Warning.
Oop. Did not judge that close enough. All right. Landing. Boosters are off. I've flown in these ships long enough that I kind of instinctually know where the parts are. So I try to get good at flying in cockpit mode because it gives you a little bit more awareness of what's going on because you don't have to like switch back and forth. Haven't played since the ship inventory changes. Used to be able to access local inventory to transfer a bunch of items instantly to the ship. If I want to move a bunch of items from one station to another, what's the quickest way now? So, you can buy a... you can buy a box at most cargo centers. And what you can do is in your inventory, if you go to like over here, these places are everywhere. So you go to a storage access. You can have everything here saved in a box. I could just drag these things into the box and then just put them all into the box. And then I can pull the box up on the cargo elevator and load it into my ship. And then I can take that to anywhere I want to go and unload it, or just load the box into the inventory, into like the cargo elevators at the location. and pull it out of the box, or that kind of stuff. Yeah, a store all box. Yeah, the inventory terminals will be the ones that'll work for you. You can actually load everything into a box through the inventory terminal. All right, let's head to the central business and see if we can sell that. Wish you could buy 32 SCU store all boxes into which you can load them. You can get close to it. You can get like 16 SCU cargo boxes, I believe. I know for sure you can get 8. And trust me, you don't really need more than an 8. 8 can pretty much hold everything you need. Perfect timing.
Next stop, Central Station.
I do love the arriving in Lorville. The music and vibe at the spaceport is great. Yeah, I mean, look at this. There's Archibald Hurston. There's Central. That's where we're going. Another little pet peeve of mine is there's no way I'd be let into Central looking like this. This would not be allowed into Central. Not with the amount of grenades and weapons I have on me. That's the showcase. That's transfers. That's right. I've been here enough times now to know where these things are. Oh, it's marked as illegal? Oh, fuck that. Okay. Never mind. That was a waste of a trip. Aerospace weapon. Surely they got plenty of hackers putting electronic trigger locks on using travelers. I mean, that's what's on right now. But just for like fun's sake, it would make a lot of sense for people to be forced to strip down to civilians in these locations. So you have to have a swap out to your civilian clothing for some of these places. And if you want to carry weapons, you can, but you need like a license. It adds a little bit more immersion, but it also adds a little bit more nuance to the gameplay. So now if you're a bounty hunter, you can chase people down through cities.
Now arriving from Leavesden Station. Stand by and let passengers disembark before boarding.
Do you think they'll get that part working? Yeah, they'll get it working. If Chris wants it bad enough. It's not that complicated. It's stuff that other games have done in the past. It just takes time. Time and priority. How's my Hurston video going? I can check on the stats if you're asking my stats. Generally, it's doing okay. Last I checked, it was doing okay. If he's asking if it's out, it's out. It's number 6 out of 10 in the last 10 videos. But then again, like, the last 10 videos were the Idris, the Perseus, the history of ASD, the ships of the UE Navy, and the Regen Crisis. So, it's about 3,500 views, which is good. It's fine. Like I said, it's on par. It's a little bit on the low end, but it's a low end of the average. It doesn't have a lot of click-through rate. That's very normal for videos that are not about ships specifically or ship companies.
Be considerate to your fellow travelers. Do not lock doors. Next stop, Tisa Spaceport.
Yeah, thank you. As I said at the end, I love the fucking Hurstons, man. They're so fucking messy. I love them. Like, are they corrupt? Oh yeah, they are hella corrupt. But like, they don't care because like, who else are you gonna turn to when a 9-foot Van Duel is threatening to stab your cousin in the chest with a spear for just living in the wrong place. Yeah, they're evil. Yeah, they do horrible things, but they're the only people who are willing to give you a weapon of mass destruction to stop the more evil thing from happening. They're a great representation of the Star Citizen universe. It's like everyone sucks. There is no legitimate good guys in the universe. Everyone is some shade of gray. We gotta love to hate them, man. I think the best way of looking at it is also Maria. Maria Hurston is one of the is one of the best examples of like how you do that. They're interesting, not good. Good is boring, and as much even as much as it's preferable. In a storytelling, generally speaking, you don't want to have good and bads because good can be boring and easy to lose interest in. You need interesting. You need someone who's got some spice to them, and the Hurstons are spicy. What do you mean, Paul? Assoians are the good guys. We don't know a lot about Assoians, but I'm assuming that Assoians eat their own young or some shit like that. Anthony Tanaka wasn't good. He was just a kid. It just wasn't good to kill a kid for refusing to work a double shift. Oh, they are very HBO Succession. But, like, if every member of the Succession, of the family, was actually a fucking genius. Because, like, holy fuck. The Hurstons are absolutely terrifying in the sense that they are good at what they do. Like, they are fucking talented at everything they do. And that's not something that should be the case.
Thank you for your patronage.
Landing gear out. Landing gear down.
Yeah, go watch it, Blue Falcon. It's good.
Landing gear.
It was literally released yesterday. I released it yesterday at like 7 p.m. because I finished it at 4 p.m. And then it took an hour to encode. Hour and a half to encode, and then it took like 20 minutes to upload. It's an hour and 6 minutes long. Like, Maria Hurston is a great example of the Hurstons. Like, she wasn't a Hurston, she became a Hurston very fucking quick. To the point where she is literally the, like, I wouldn't say the poster child, but she is quite literally the most powerful Hurston to have ever lived. Her son was Chesterfield Hurston, who purchased Hurston the planet. Her granddaughter was Magda Hurston, who was the one who actually convinced her father to purchase the planet. And Magda's son, her great-grandson, is currently ruling Hurston over a time in the middle of one of the biggest wars humanity has ever fought, which means money for the Hurstons. Maria Hurston, who was a legitimate pro-revolutionary, she was an anti-fascist, protester. She actively fought against the Hurstons since she was a teenager. You know that line in Rogue One where it's like, I've been in this fight since I was 14 years old. That's Maria. She was famous because she was leading protesters and revolutionaries during the Anti-Mezzo Revolution as a 15-year-old girl. And she was photographed leading them. Like, thanks for covering the game, Lord. Not many people do it, including CIG. They do, but I'd rather them do a lot more stuff in game. Like, having the Galactopedian game would go so far to help people out. Only rebel until you get power. Oh no, she definitely played the Hurston game. She used her own status as basically, like her and August Dunlow, the guy who founded Crusader Industries, were probably best friends. Like, based on their backgrounds, and they were almost certainly best friends. Which means that the current leader of Crusader, I always forget her name, but she was around. She was hired by Dunlow to make the Genesis Starliner, so she knew Dunlow personally. And Magda was the granddaughter of Maria, who fought against the Mezzers. So there's actually a council. There's a system-wide council that meets once a year, where all the CEOs of the 4 major corporations, including the UEE representatives in the area. So I imagine the captain of the Warhammer and special agent in charge Ruina Dooley, who's in charge of the Stanton system. They all meet together to discuss system-wide matters once a year. So I imagine those initial system meetings went very well because the CEO of Hurston and Crusader were clearly good friends. Does the Hurston family care they still have settlers still on their planet? Yeah, they actually issue... You get missions specifically to go kill them. They want them dead. They want to genocide them. Well, no. See, she was an anti-Mezzer rebel, but she wasn't a Hurston. She was a Wharton. She was Maria Wharton. She met, after the revolution, she met her future husband, Julius? Can't remember his name. I have to look up his name. He's less important because he's not very interesting. He just had the name. Jasper. She met Jasper Hurston at a party, and he was just like, man, I want to get out of the Hurstons. I'm going to leave my family because they just put me in this nosebleed of a position where I have no power or influence. And she bonded with him over that. And she did everything in her power to be a kingmaker, to make him CEO. Those are the Dusters, yeah. The people you see in those things that are Dusters, those are the original settlers. At least my belief is they're the descendants of the original settlers. CIG, we need filters on this. We need to be able to filter out bases from planets so we can easily navigate. Like, that's one of the biggest problems is cluttered UI. If there's ways to filter out so you can unclutter the UI, it would go a long way. Those are not dusters, those are shipjackers. The 890 jump missions, the shipjackers. Unless they've changed the name to dusters. But no, they're shipjackers. They're generic group of shipjackers. Yeah. Yeah, but the politicking is impressive. And secondary, I want a Spectrum series of Throne of Herstons. Now, I said it in the video, but I believe that Jasper and the CEO of Hurston Dynamics at the time basically saw Alton basically saw the writing on the wall and knew his sister was plotting against him. So when the Anti-Mezzo Revolution came in, he probably threw in with the rebels. Because he knew, he was like, we're going to get fucked if they find out, when the rebels find out that one of our own fucking family members is a close advisor of the last Hurston, or the last Mezzer. We need to, like, distance ourselves. So the second things started going bad, they threw in with the revolution and managed to avoid prosecution. So that's the thing, Yokoshino. The secret to them having the entire planet covered is not that they did it themselves. They subletted it. Basically, they sold portions of the planet to other companies so that they could afford to do what they wanted to do. Because they only needed, like, place for their own stuff. So most of what you see is actually other companies building manufacturing plants at various different things. There are several companies that have headquarters in ArcCorp. I think one of the armor companies, like Basilisk, is headquartered in ArcCorp. With the whole thing was like, come to ArcCorp, we don't have fucking environmental regulations. Do what you want. They're just Hurstons, but not antisocial. And it's not actually 200 years, it's 100 years. And they've been people have said it before, well, I don't think it's realistic. And the writer team is like, no, we do. We think it is, with the technology levels and what happens. By the way, I saw your argument with Dell there, Jin, on Nix 1. I think Dell is wrong and you're wrong at the same time. The reality is that Nix 1 is going to be unlawful, but it is going to be more lawful than Pyro, which means it's not going to have as many resources as Pyro's systems will. So it won't be as valuable, but it'll be a place where people can go settle if they don't want to be part of the UEE. But where do they get all the? Where do they get all the people? Indentured servitude. ArcCorp does the same thing as Hurston does. I'm not even joking. They just don't have lifetime contracts. They pay all of their laborers in scrip, so they can't ever leave. You got to remember that the population, like, life sucks in the UEE. We've kind of got like this little glimpse of like the better life of the UEE in the UEE, because quite literally, like Stanton is kind of like New York in terms of like there's lots of folks who would love to live in Stanton, but can't because they don't have the money or they don't want to have to like pay with their labor. Yeah, most of the planet is refineries, is infrastructure. So factories, refineries, warehouses, that kind of thing. And where people live is in the areas. Area 18, Area 17, those are the residential areas.
Landing gear down.
And there are probably some parts of ArcCorp which are not settled. When they put Genesis in, like, I'd imagine they're going to have mountains that stick out, kind of like Coruscant. And there's also supposed to be an entire ocean that exists on ArcCorp that's not there yet. Genesis definitely, they need to redo ArcCorp. They know they need to redo ArcCorp. The way it currently implemented is not their goal long term. And they may have some areas that are a little bit underdeveloped, but it'll still end up being like a mega city. The stuff that's underdeveloped will probably be like factory farms, where you just see vast farmland. Yeah, they've been wanting to do ArcCorp, redo ArcCorp since Planet Tech 2. I think it will be. I think the UE versus PLA will be, but I do not trust CIG to have the technical or rhetorical skill to handle it in a way that would be interesting. Because the PLA versus the UE would have to be a massive thing. And they would have to make it so that the players have to fight against each other to actually decide the fate. Here's the reality. Your choices don't matter. No matter what you do, Nyx will remain independent. There might be some small changes. Like who controls Nyx 1, technically. Because the fighting will stop because the Vanduul will have an incursion, and it'll require both the UEE and the the People's Alliance, PAL, to put their differences aside to fight the Vanduul. I don't think CIG has the guts to do what they need to do with that. Children of executives are, children of executives aren't always citizens. They still have to earn citizenship, but it's going to be a lot easier for you to earn citizenship if your parent is an influential member of ArcCorp Society or Hurston Society or, any major family. Because when you go before your citizenship review board, you'll have a much easier time. I mean, I live in hope. I live in hope that CIG knows what they're doing and will do an amazing storytelling that has a lot of nuance where there's no good guys or bad guys, and you have to make a hard decision between two potential good guys going towards each other. But I don't think that's going to happen.
But you can
Never. Ever.
take away my space game.
Wahoo 127 just resubscribed for 52 months.
Thanks for that 52 months of support there, Wahoo. You're very important, Papa. Very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Whew, 52 months. All right, I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm going to go rest from the drink. I'm going to set up the Discord. We're going to do a call-in show. So if you want to come talk about your thoughts on 2026, what do you think Star Citizen's going to... What do you want from Star Citizen 2026? What do you think's going to happen? And, of course, do you think Squad 42 is going to release in 2026? I'll be starting that up here shortly. Don't push me. Alright, starting up the stage. I'll be right back. Do you know if Think Shield will eventually the player plays Tavarn, Devanu, or Xion? Yes. They said specifically that they'll do it. They've been saying they're going to do it for a while. They said that if they're going to do a DLC, a paid DLC, that wouldn't be free for free updates, it would be that.
Everyone.
M4 Varrock _69 just had a space baby.
Genesis.
I'm flying. I'm pilot.
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy.
Daddy just gifted 5 subs.
Stand by for Titanfall.
I like money.
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Dem biddies.
Oh hey, it's Space Tomato jamming.
Mission complete. Burrito I eat. There you go.
Barcelona! Barcelona!
All right, I'm gonna set everything up on the other channel real quick. Be right back, chat. We're gonna get started up with some Captain's Table. Did I just get raided by Tomato? Hey, Tomato, sorry about that. I literally just left. You are becoming a pro at raiding when people leave. I'll be right back, chat. I'm just getting some food in me before we get started with a call-in show. So join us on Discord. We'll be talking about the fate of Star Citizen in 2026. All right, chat. We're going to get started here in a few moments. I've already got 3 people waiting up. If you want to join us, you hop onto the Discord. Discord's linked to below. You can also hit ! Discord. And we'll take your thoughts. So. No, Space Tomato is not on the table tonight. It's a call-in show. All right. So if you want to have your thoughts on 2026, join us in Discord. I think the first person, it's under streamer mode. Duncan's the first one. Then Flackism, then Dream Wraith, then Coffee Whore. All right.